Hello, great people. So we pour the milk in the bowl, the warm milk, 150 ml. Then we have sugar, 40 grams. We have yeast, 1 teaspoon plus 1/4 teaspoon of the yeast. Pour it inside and mix together. Actually, every ingredient is going into this bowl. So, but just pour one after the other, and give it a stir. The salt, half teaspoon. The butter is going in. Then one egg mixed together. Of course, the butter won't combine with liquid like that. So you can start using your mixer with the dough hook right from this point. You can start using your dough mixer from this point. And if you want to mix with hand completely, you can do that too. Alright, you keep mixing until you pour the whole flour into the bowl and completely mix everything together. You can pour it on the table surface and start kneading, or you can get your mixer with the dough. So for the mixer, it might take 4 or 5 minutes. For and if you're kneading with your hand, if you don't have a mixer, it's fine. You can just knead with your hands for 8 to 10 minutes. So it depends on how the dough is doing. So you completely continue to mix, continue to mix. You mix and mix and mix until it's well mixed. And you can already see the dough has come together. It will form like a bulb in the bowl. So everything will cling to your mixer hook. At that stage, you know that the dough is ready. It will pull away from the bowl sides, and you can take it off from the. You can see it has changed. The look has changed. Everything is more smooth and more rounded than before. So it depends on your mixer speed also. The readiness of the dough is not particular time per se. All right. You can see everything is clinging to the hook as such, as like one big bulb. So it's time to remove it from the bowl. You wash your hands, dry them, make sure it's clean. You need your hands very clean at this time, as in very, very clean. And your flour with you to remove the dough. At this point, some people don't use flour. You rather use oil because you don't want the bread, or let's say the dinner rolls, to be dry. So if you're afraid of such, you can leave out the flour, the extra flour I'm using here, and use oil instead. Actually, the end result in my mouth is just a bit like that, a bit dry like that, but it's not completely dry. We have this difference in taste. I'll recommend you use oil. Actually, if after you've poured out from the bowl and you have done this, you've been able to gather it like this, when you want to make it into balls, so just use your oil to form the balls. I'm going to divide this mixture into two, and making it into a long sausage, so I can divide it accordingly. There is no particular rule to how you can form your dough, but if you're making donut rolls, of course you want to make round balls, so you can decide to divide it as you like. So after mixing like this, please make sure it rests for 10 minutes before you continue kneading. I didn't show that because of the time for the video, so leave it like this. Probably you cover it in the bowl, oiled bowl. You oil your bowl and put it inside, cover it with your napkin, and make sure it rests for like 10 minutes. Bring it out again, and then you can continue with this. So bring it out again and do this. Make it into a log, divide it into When you divide it into like this, then you can take one part and cut it into 6. This is the other part I'm making. I've already cut one part into 6, so I'm making the other part, cutting it into 6 also. And I'm making it into a ball, folding in while rubbing it on the table, folding in and making a round ball of it. Continue the process. Like I said, you can choose to use oil at this point so you don't fold in some flour, and so that your dough remains moist. I guess it's a little drying out. That's my discovery. When you do this, it dries out your dough without you knowing. So after it's baked, you can feel some little dryness. So you can avoid the flour if you know you may be tempted to use much. And note that your dough should not be sometimes it will be a little sticky, to be a little soft. It should not be hard. Don't think it's so harsh that's why it's not sticking to our hands. It's not that hard. It's just a little, very little. It's a little sticky. It's still soft. So don't be tempted to be pouring flour. Don't pour too much flour into your dough. Then I decide to roll like a small bread. Just decide to do a small rolling like that. So some people do the rolling like a bread, that sausage rolling. Some people do the rounded shape like a ball to make the dinner roll. So whichever one you decide, it's okay. It's cool. We know dinner rolls is rounded, but please, there is no rule to all these things. It's about preference. So just arrange accordingly and make sure there's little space in between the dough. I've already oiled the pan. I use butter just to have more flavor in the dough. If you want, you can use oil. It's okay. So then in the pan, you still let it rise. Let it rise for 10 minutes or thereabouts. Now it's baked, and I'm brushing my butter all over. I didn't melt the butter. I just put my brush in the margarine. I use margarine, topper butter to be precise. So I just put my brush in it and brush it over the dinner rolls, just for it to be shiny. You can take it back if it's not really baked. This one is already baked, so if it's not really, you can take it back and let it dry up before you bring it out for 1 minute. That's my baby. So the dinner roll is ready. You can serve to the family, to the children. You can keep some for the next day. All right. Have fun.